The movie starts in an underground boxing ring. Carter, a fighter who's feeling confident after winning a few matches, is ready for another win. But everything changes when Dalton walks into the ring. He's the tough guy everyone talks about and whispers. As soon as Dalton takes off his hoodie, Carter loses his confidence. It's a winner-takes-all fight. But Carter knows he's no match for Dalton, so he quits. Dalton gets all the prize money. But one angry thug, upset about losing his bet, tries to stab Dalton. Big mistake. Dalton barely flinches. He stands there like a superhero. The thug quickly realizes he messed with the wrong guy. While Dalton is treating his wound, a woman named Frankie walks up to him. She knows who he is and tells him her bar is full of troublemakers. The police won't help, so she offers him a job as the head bouncer for $5,000 a week. That's $20,000 a month. Dalton isn't sure. He has no phone, no home, and a beat-up car. He's tired of life. At one point, he even thinks about ending it all at a train crossing. But when he changes his mind, his car breaks down, and a train crashes right into it. Somehow, Dalton walks away, barely hurt. Maybe, just maybe, Frankie's job offer is worth considering after all. Dalton arrives in the new town, where he meets Charlie, a girl running a bookstore. She and her dad show him the way to the bar. Dalton finally makes it to the bar, funnily enough called the Roadhouse. As soon as he walks in, Billy, the waiter, recognizes him right away. Dalton's kind of famous. The place is quiet for now, and Dalton even mentions how peaceful it feels. The barista, Laura, just chuckles, knowing that calm won't last long. Sure enough, that night, a fight breaks out. People are throwing bottles and glasses everywhere, and even the live band joins in. But Dalton, he stays out of it. When a biker gang rolls in, Laura knows things are about to get worse. They start wrecking the place without a care. That's when Dalton steps in. He calmly walks outside, messing with their bikes to get their attention. Outside, Dalton offers them a chance to leave peacefully. He even jokes, asking whether they have insurance and how far the hospital is before the fight begins. One by one, Dalton dodges their punches and takes them down without even breaking a sweat. After the fight, Dalton borrows Frankie's car and drives the bikers to the hospital himself. At the hospital, a nurse named Ellie sarcastically calls Dalton a troublemaker for bringing in the injured bikers. She notices he's bleeding and offers to patch him up, since his quick fix didn't hold. She asks if he ever actually wins these fights. And Dalton, in his calm way, just says, "No one ever wins a fight." As Dalton leaves, some other tough guys are already sizing him up, ready to cause more trouble. Back at the Roadhouse, Frankie hands Dalton his pay for the week and lets him crash at her old boathouse. She jokes about a crocodile that hangs around nearby and warns him to be careful. Oh, and the name of the boathouse? It's just the boat. Who comes up with these names, right? That night, Dalton has a rough dream about his last UFC fight, where he was the challenger. Just when things get intense in the dream, Laura wakes him up, bringing him breakfast. She tells him how the Roadhouse has gone through a lot of bouncers and hopes things will be different with him around. Later, Dalton heads to Charlie's bookstore to use their computer. But even there, people are already talking about his showdown with the biker gang. As he's browsing, chaos breaks out at a nearby store when some bikers start causing trouble. Charlie grabs a bat, ready to take them on. The bikers laugh at her, until Dalton walks out. They quickly remember who they're dealing with and back off. Dalton slowly begins to settle in, making new friends and feeling more at home in the town. Meanwhile, out on a boat, the biker boss Brent is getting a shave while the boat rocks on the waves. He's annoyed that his men can't seem to do anything right. He hired them to scare people away from local businesses, but Dalton's presence is making that hard. Back at the Roadhouse, another fight breaks out, this time over music. Dalton sees the perfect chance to teach Billy some new tricks. He tells him, if someone pulls a knife, take a step back and don't get too close. Billy manages to break up the fight, just like Dalton told him, but when round 2 starts, Dalton steps in to help, then lets Billy finish it. Over the next few days, Dalton trains Billy even more. Turns out, Billy's a quick learner. Dalton also notices that one of the workers, Reef, has scars on his knuckles. It doesn't take long for Dalton to figure out that Reef's a boxer. He decides to team up Billy and Reef, making them partners to help keep things under control at the Roadhouse. That way, Dalton can relax a little more. One night, while helping a drunk guy out of the bar, Dalton spots the biker gang outside. They give him a nasty look and promise they'll be back. That night, Dalton has more nightmares from his UFC past. Back then, he wasn't afraid to throw punches or call people out. Now, he's more cautious. The next morning at the Roadhouse, Dalton bumps into Ellie again. He wonders why everyone in this town seems so aggressive. He and Ellie start flirting, moving past just being friends. After another week of work, Dalton picks up his pay and heads to the boathouse. On the way, he notices a car creeping up on him. Suddenly, it speeds up and almost hits him. Dalton dodges just in time, but the car doesn't stop. It reverses and knocks both Dalton and a truck off the bridge. Dalton survives, but when he returns to the boathouse, Del, the biker gang leader, is waiting for him with a gun. Dalton acts fast. He flips the table, breaks Del's knees, and throws him into the water. Dalton tries to handle it peacefully, but Frankie wasn't joking about that crocodile. Sure enough, the big croc shows up, and, well, let's just say Del becomes dinner. The next morning, police are searching for Del's body, but a local casually mentions that crocs like to hide their food, so they won't have much luck. At the bookstore, Charlie shows Dalton a map of the Roadhouse, and something about it doesn't sit right with him. As he steps outside, a man threatens him, telling Dalton to get in the car to meet his boss, Brant. Dalton, calm as ever, warns the guy, if he loses his index finger, he won't be able to hold a gun. The man tries to act tough, but Dalton's quicker. He takes the guy down and casually says, "If Brant wants to meet me, I'm at the Roadhouse every evening." Back at the Roadhouse, Dalton questions Frankie about why Del and his gang were so focused on the place. Frankie shrugs it off, saying it's probably just some territorial nonsense. Meanwhile, the man with the broken finger returns to Brant and admits he failed to bring Dalton in. Brant's frustration is growing. His grand plans are falling apart because of one skinny bouncer. Just as he's about to explode, Brant's dad calls from prison. Instead of answering, Brant throws the phone out the window and tells the guy with the broken finger to go fetch it. Meanwhile, Knox, after enjoying a wild night out, gets a call from Brant's father, who wants him to step in and fix the mess Brant has made. Knox is ready and leaves immediately. Elsewhere, Ellie surprises Dalton by taking him out on her ex-boyfriend's boat. She brings him to her favorite picnic spot in the middle of the sea. During their chat, Dalton mentions his troubles with a guy named Brant. Ellie reveals that Brant's family is filthy rich and owns a big chunk of the local land. She starts asking Dalton about his personal life, which makes him uncomfortable. He tells her she wouldn't want to know about his past, but Ellie already knows and doesn't mind. Finally, Dalton opens up a bit more, and they share a closer moment. Meanwhile, Knox arrives in town, parking his Ferrari in style and knocking over some motorcycles at Brant's house. He jokes that there aren't enough sandwiches for him. Apparently, he's a big eater. When Brant returns, Knox slaps him, saying Brant's father sent him to clean up his mess and solve the, quote, bouncer problem. Despite the slap, Brant convinces Knox to give him one more chance to handle Dalton. Later, Ellie drops Dalton off at his place, but waiting for him are police officers who want to question him about the incident with Del. At the station, the sheriff warns Dalton to leave town or face serious consequences. Dalton's clever replies irritate the sheriff, who drags him out of the car, beats him up, and holds him at gunpoint. Just then, Ellie shows up and slaps her dad, the sheriff. She gives Dalton a ride back and explains that her father used to be friends with Brant's dad. When Brant's dad went to prison, the sheriff started working for Brant instead. While all this is going on, Brant heads over to cause trouble at the bookstore. When Dalton returns for his night shift at the Roadhouse, Brant finally shows up for a face-to-face chat. He knows Dalton can't be intimidated or bought off. Brant even found Dalton's infamous UFC fight on YouTube, the one where he punches an opponent to death. Then Brant unleashes Knox and the entire biker gang storms in. Knox swaggeringly announces that the Roadhouse is now his turf and starts wrecking the place. He even snatches a woman from her date. Billy and Reef notice the chaos and try to stop Knox, but Knox knocks Billy out cold and easily takes down Reef. With both bouncers out of commission, a full-blown bar fight breaks out. Dalton just wanted a quiet coffee break, but now he's dragged into the mess. Knox taunts Dalton, saying he came just for him. The two face off. Knox has the upper hand thanks to his strength and backup. He beats Dalton badly until Dalton's allies get involved. Finally, Knox drags Dalton outside. Beaten and bruised, Dalton silently gets up and walks away, just as Ellie and the police arrive. The Roadhouse is left in ruins. Back at the boathouse, Dalton packs his bags. Frankie finally tells him the truth. Brant wants to build a fancy resort, and Frankie is the only holdout. Dalton doesn't seem to care much at first, but Frankie confesses she's terrified, more than he could ever know. Meanwhile, Brant is informed that Dalton is still alive as he admires his resort plans. Dalton, on his way to the bus stop, sees that Charlie's bookstore has been set on fire. Firefighters tell him Charlie and her dad were rushed to the hospital. Since Charlie was the first person to welcome him to town, Dalton decides he can't just walk away. He heads straight to Brant's place. He finds one of Brant's goons and lets him know that burning down Charlie's bookstore was a huge mistake. Dalton then breaks the guy's trachea, making it impossible for him to breathe, and pushes him into the pool. Dalton shares his fear. "I'm afraid of what happens when somebody pushes me too far, because I know what happens next." The guy dies in the pool. As one of the bikers watches Dalton shove the goon's body into a truck, he quickly spills the beans about Brant's upcoming meeting involving a lot of cash. Dalton tracks down a corrupt cop, knocks him out, and finds a suitcase full of money, enough to last a lifetime. He frames the cop for a murder before knocking him out again. Then he uses a payphone to call the police and the news. Ellie's dad arrives just as Dalton finishes setting up explosives. He tells Dalton that Brant has taken Ellie and will kill her unless the money is returned. Dalton is skeptical but agrees to meet with the cash, just in case. Dalton takes a boat, slipping past Ellie's ex-boyfriend, who's a cop. Knox makes a grand entrance at Brant's estate, but no one is there. At Brant's boat, the sheriff lounges around, claiming the kidnapping was fake. But then Brant admits he did take Ellie. "How's that for a twist?" Dalton asks. Brant is furious that Dalton keeps getting in his way. He just wants the money. Suddenly, Knox appears on the horizon, giving Dalton the distraction he needs to blow the explosives. The explosion creates chaos. Dalton searches for Ellie and finds her locked in a room, just as the window blows open from the blast. They escape into the water, and Dalton fights off attackers. Ellie makes it into a boat, but Brant is already aboard, taking her hostage and heading for the Roadhouse to destroy it. Meanwhile, Knox and Dalton finally have their big fight. Dalton somehow gets onto Brant's boat. Just as Knox is about to hit him, Dalton spins the boat and knocks Knox into the water. Brant, angry, tries to crash his boat into Dalton's, but Dalton jumps onto Brant's boat just in time. Ellie and Brant are fighting, and Dalton knocks Brant down. The boat flips near the Roadhouse, but Dalton and Ellie escape safely. Brant survives. Dalton knows he has to end this for good. Brant grabs a fishing spear, but Dalton knocks him out fast. Then Knox shows up again for one last fight. This time, it's fair. Dalton fights hard, but Knox keeps hitting him badly. The fight is tough. Dalton puts Knox in a headlock, but Knox stabs him in the stomach. Just as Knox is about to stab him again, Brant yells at him to kill Dalton. Knox gets annoyed and goes after Brant instead. That gives Dalton the chance he needs. He grabs 2 wooden sticks and beats Knox, finishing him once and for all. The sheriff shows up and tells Dalton he's safe, but he has to leave. Frankie stays hopeful, saying the Roadhouse will be okay. In the last scene, Dalton's bus arrives. Charlie's dad finds the suitcase full of money and wants to thank him, but Dalton is already gone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.